Hey there guys, welcome to this video. My name is Pushpinder Gill, and in this video we're going to be talking about exponents, right? So this is a video which is especially for the GRE test, for the GMAT test, as well as the CAT test, right? So what I've done is I've actually picked up some really difficult questions in exponents, and each question has something to teach you how to actually tackle exponent questions. So before I go ahead and start the exponent questions, I would actually like to go ahead and show you some basics of exponents. Now, first of all, I'll be doing the review of the exponents. X raised to the power a into x raised to the power b is equal to x raised to the power a plus b. Like say for example, 2 raised to the power 3 into 2 raised to the power 5 is equal to 2 raised to the power 3 plus 5, that is actually equal to 2 raised to the power 8. X raised to the power a divided by x raised to the power b is actually going to be equal to x raised to the power a minus b. That means that, for example, 2 raised to the power 5 divided by 2 raised to the power 3 is going to be equal to 2 raised to the power 5 minus 3, which is actually equal to 2 raised to the power 2. Anything raised to the power 0 is going to be 1, like 2 raised to the power 0 is going to be 1. Anything raised to the power minus 1 is going to be the reciprocal of that number, right? So 2 raised to the power minus 1 would actually be equal to 1 over 2. Then square root of, then square root of x is going to be equal to x to the power 1 by 2. That means 4 square root is actually equal to 4 raised to the power 1 over 2. Cube root of x is actually equal to x to the power 1 by 3. So this is something which we call as the square root. So the question can also ask you what is the square root rather than giving you the annotation. And then you have something known as the cube root, which is x to the power 1 by 3. And then you have something known as the nth root. So this is something that we call the nth root of the number. So that's there. Another important point is that x to the power a to the power b is actually equal to x to the power ab. For example, 10 raised to the power 3 raised to the power 2 is going to be equal to 10 raised to the power 6. However, x raised to the power a raised to the power b without the parenthesis or without the brackets remain x to the power a raised to the power b. Let's say for example, 10 raised to the power 3 raised to the power 2 will be actually equal to 10 raised to the power 3 raised to the power 2. So what is 3 raised to the power 2? 3 raised to the power 2 is 9. So this is going to be 9 here. So that means if there are no parentheses, then it just gets raised to that power. So I hope that's also fine, guys. So these are some of the basic properties of exponents. However, this is something which is tested at a very basic level. So now what we're going to do is we are going to solve some questions here, and those questions, and each question is actually not a simple question. Each question has something to teach you. So the question over here says that find the value of square root of 25 plus 10 square root 6 into plus 25 minus 10 square root 6. Let me say that this is equal to y. If this is equal to y, then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to square both sides up. Now I hope you know what is the value of a plus b whole square. A plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. That means this one is going to be this square, which is 25 plus 10 square root 6, because when you square a square root, you actually get the number itself, plus this square, that is 25 minus 10 square root 6, plus 2 into a, that is 25 plus 10 square root 6, times b, which is 25 minus 10 square root 6. Now this and this is going to cancel out each other. I'm going to have 25 plus 25, which is 50, and then this is going to be plus 2 square root of, so what is a plus b into a minus b? So a plus b into a minus b is actually going to be equal to a square minus b square. So that means this is something which is going to be equal to a square minus b square. So that means this is going to be 25 square minus 10 square root 6 square. That means this is going to be equal to 50 plus 2, and the square root of 25 square is equal to 625 minus 10 square is 100 and square root 6 square is 6. So this is equal to 600. So this is going to be equal to 50 plus 2 square root 25, which is going to be equal to 50 plus 2 into 5, which is actually going to be equal to 60. Hence 60 is my answer. So I hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to say here, guys. It's actually a very easy question. The only thing that you had to do, now another thing, 60 is not my answer, guys, because 60 is actually equal to y square, isn't it? So that means my answer is going to be equal to square root of 60. So square root of 60 will be equal to square root of 60 is something which can be broken down as 15 into 4 or 6 into 10. Let's break it down as 6 into 10, which is actually going to be equal to 3 into 2 into 5 into 2. So this 2 and this 2 is going to come out. We're going to have 2 outside, and then inside we're going to have 15. That means my answer would be 2 square root 15. So I hope you're able to understand my point over here, guys, and I hope you're understanding the kind of mistake that you can make in this question, which was I was just about to make. And the answer to this question is C. So I hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. What I did was I just squared it up and I got the answer, because as I could clearly see here, it's nothing but something of square root of a plus b and a minus b. So this is something which can be which can be done very easily. So let's move forward to the next question. Okay, so let's see this question here. This says that 5x, so I'm going to bring all the variables to one side. 5x minus z plus 3y is actually equal to 125, and square root of 5x minus square root z minus 3y is actually equal to 5. Now from here, as you can see, that 5x and square root 5x is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's say square root of 5x is equal to a, and the square root of z minus 3y is equal to b. That means from here I can say that this is going to be equal to a square, and this is going to be equal to b square, right? Because I'm sorry, this is going to be equal to a square. I said z minus 3y. So minus z plus 3y, if I take the negative out, that's actually going to be equal to z minus 3y. So a square minus b square is equal to 125. And here square root of 5x is equal to a, and square root of z minus 3y is actually equal to b. So a minus b is actually equal to 5. So a square minus b square, which is equal to a plus b into a minus b, that is actually equal to 125, and this is equal to a minus b, which is actually equal to 5. If I divide both the equations, this and this gets cancelled out, this and this gives me 25. That means I have a minus b to be equal to 5, and I have a plus b to be equal to 25. Now if I add both the equations, I'm going to get 2a is equal to 30. That means a is equal to 15. If a minus b is equal to 5 and a is 15, that means b is going to be equal to 10. That means square root of 5x is equal to 10, and square root of z minus 3y is actually equal to, square root of 5x is equal to 15, and square root of z minus 3y is equal to 10. Now what is the question asking me? The question is asking me square root of 45 into square root of z minus 3y divided by square root of x. So square root of 45 is a constant, so that's square root of 45. Square root of z minus 3y is actually equal to 10, and square root of x is going to be 15 over square root of 5, because square root of 5x is equal to 15. That means square root of x is going to be equal to 15 over square root of 5. So this square root of 5 goes at the top. So what I have 9 into 5, that's 45, into the square root of 5, into 10 over 15. So 9 into 5 is going to give me 15, because this will give me a 3 and this will give me a 5, into 10 over 15. That means my answer is going to be equal to 10. So I hope you're able to understand what I'm trying to say here, guys. This was important, what I just did here. What I did was I put the variables, all the variables on one side, and I could clearly see here that this was the 5x and z minus 3y and z minus 3y has something to do with each other. And then I just went with the question and I just solved the question and I got the answer. This was equal to a square and this was equal to b square. And a square minus b square was 125 and a minus b was equal to 5. I solved the equation. I got the value of a and b. I solved the simultaneous equations first, and then I plugged everything in what I had, what I was supposed to find, and then I got the answer. So I hope you're able to understand this point over here, guys. Let's move forward to the next question. Now let's see this question. This is actually a very common question that you see in a lot of exams. So what you can do here is, it says x is a positive number and is equal to this expression to infinite number of roots. What is the value of x? Let's say that x is equal to square root of 6 plus square root of 6 plus square root of 6 and so on. Now, isn't this equal to x as well? Because this is something which goes till infinite numbers. So I can say x is equal to square root of 6 plus this is also equal to x. Even though if I calculate the whole thing, I'll actually get the exact value. But here I'm actually trying to find the approximation. So I can say that this is equal to x. Now if I square both sides up, I'll get x squared is equal to 6 plus x. And I'll get a quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation is going to be x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0, which is going to be equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. Which is going to be equal to x into x minus 3 plus 2 into x minus 3 is equal to 0, which would say that x is either equal to 3 or x is either equal to negative 2. However, since x is a positive number, this is not going to be valid. That means x is going to be equal to 3. So that was simple, guys. I hope you understood this. So let's move forward to the next one. Now this question over here says that x is equal to square root 10 plus cube root of 9 plus 4 root of 8 plus 5 root of 7 and so on. Then which of the following must be true? Fine. So that's there. Now x is equal to, what is square root of 10? Now this is something that we have to approximate here, isn't it? Square root of 10 is approximately 3 point something, because 3 square is 9. And the square root cube root of 9. Now you know 2 cube is 8, so it has to be greater than 2. So these are the minimum values that I'm taking, right? So it's minimum 3, it's minimum 2. 4 root of 8. Now 2 raised to the power 4 is 16. That means this would approximately be 1.5. That's the minimum it would be. And this all would be equal to a minimum of 1. Because they have to be greater than 1, that's a given, because if you raise a number to 1 raise a number to a greater power less than 1, the number keeps on becoming smaller. So I'm going to consider them to be 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm considering them to be equal to 6. That means 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 6 is 11, 11 plus this is equal to 12.5. That means x is definitely greater than 12. Now let's see this question here. This question here says that x is equal to fifth root of negative 37. Then which of the following must be true, right? So if x is equal to fifth root of negative 37, well, that means x is equal to negative 37 raised to the power 1 over 5. Fine. So x is equal to 37 raised to the power 1 over 5. If I raise both of them to the power 5, that means x to the power 5 is going to be equal to negative 37. So x to the power 5 should be equal to negative 37. So I'm going to use the answer options and I'm going to try from the answer options here. First of all, says x to the power 4 is greater than 32. Right? So let's pick up a number where x to the power 4 is greater than 32. Let's say x is equal to, if x to the power 4 is greater than negative 32, let's say x is equal to 4. Fine. So if, x could be equal to 4 here because, 4 raised to the power 4 is greater than 32. So if x is equal to 4, then 4 raised to the power 5 will definitely not be equal to negative 37. That'll actually be a very positive number. So this is gone. This one says that x cube is less than minus 8. So if x cube is less than minus 8, that means x over here has to be less than, because x cube is less than negative 8. So and that is the case, that means x has to be not less than, x has to be greater than negative 2. No, I'm sorry. X has to be less than negative 2. Because negative 2 cube is negative 8 and negative 3 cube is negative 27. So x has to be less than negative 2. Now if x to the power 5 is equal to negative 37, so that means that x is definitely a negative number. So let's keep this. Now x square is less than 4. Well, x can be equal to 1 as well. Well, definitely not, x is not equal to 1 here. X can be positive here, so that is eliminated. Answer option B says x is greater than negative 2. So x can be equal to 4. That is also eliminated because x can be positive. Now square root of negative x is greater than 2. If square root of negative x is greater than 2, that means x is definitely a negative number, because negative of negative will give you a positive. Then only the square root of 2 will be a negative. And x has to be less than negative 4, because if you have a negative 4 here, then only you're going to have a 2 here. That means this negative number has to be greater than negative 4. It has to be negative 5 or negative 6 or negative 7 or negative 8 for this to be greater than 2. So we have two contenders here. Do you think x is less than negative 2, or do you think x is less than negative 4? Let's put that to test here. Now if I say x is equal to negative 2, so negative 2 raised to the power 5 is actually equal to negative 32. Fine. So negative 2 raised to the power 5 is actually equal to negative 32. So if you clearly see here that negative 2 raised to the power 5 is negative 32, negative 3 raised to the power 5 is negative 81. That means x is actually between negative 2 and negative 3. And this is something which is less than negative 4. That means this is eliminated. Hence answer option D is going to be my answer. And again, guys, this is my first shot on this question. So, so you can see that this is how you should approach this question. We are actually following process of elimination on this question. We first found out that x has to be negative, and we eliminated the answer options which could be positive. And then we were down to these two answer options. Here, it said that x is less than equal to less than negative 4. Here, x says x is less than negative 2. And again, x is actually coming down to be between negative 2 and negative 3, which is why we chose answer option D to be our answer. So let's move forward to another question. Now this says that, this over here says that x is equal to 23 squared, 25, 4, 27, this, and it's a multiple of 26 raised to the power n, where n is a non-negative integer. Then what is the value of this? So that means it is a multiple of 26 raised to the power n. 26 is actually a multiple of 13. Isn't it? Do you see a 13 somewhere? No, not at all. If you don't see a 13 somewhere, that means n has to be 0, because it's a multiple of 26 raised to the power 0. That is a multiple of 1, which means n is equal to 0. Because you don't see any 26 in n, and x is equal to 23 square, 25 4, 27 6, and 29 8. There is no 13 in n. That means n has to be 0. Now what is the value of 0 raised to the power 26 minus 26 raised to the power 0? Anything raised to the power 0 is 0, and anything raised to the 0, 0 raised to the power anything is 0, and anything raised to the power 0 is 1, which means our answer is going to be equal to -1, which is answer option C. So whenever you see the word non-negative integer written somewhere in the question, guys, whenever you see that, understand that 0 is important to the question. You know, you should just see it and hit it right away. That 0 is very, very important to the question. Now let's move forward to the next part here. It says that what is the value of 5 plus 4 into 5, which is 5 plus 4 into 5 plus 4 into 5 square plus 4 into 5 cube plus 4 into 5 raised to the power 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 5 plus 4, I'm actually going to take out. I'm going to have 5 raised to the power 1 plus 5 raised to the power 2 plus 5 raised to the power 3 plus 5 raised to the power 4 plus 5 raised to the power 5. I've actually missed the 5 raised to the power 4 here, no problem. So this is going to be equal to, again, I can actually, if let's suppose this went till 5 raised to the power 100, what would you have done? I would actually try to observe a pattern. See, sum till first term is 5. Sum of the first term and the second term is 25, which is actually 5 square. Sum of the first two terms and the third term. So what is the third term? 100 in 25 into 4, that is 100. That is actually 5 raised to the power 3. That means sum of the first term is 5 raised to the power 1. Sum till 2 terms is 5 raised to the power 3. Sum till 3 terms is 5 raised to the power 3. That means sum till 5 terms, sum of the first term is 5 raised to the power 1. Sum till 2 terms is 5 raised to the power 2. And how many terms are there? There are 6 terms here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The total of 6 terms. So the sum is going to go till 5 raised to the power 6. Even if I go ahead and apply the geometric progression formula here, geometric progression says that sum till n terms is equal to a into r raised to the power n minus 1. So r raised to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. So even if I do that, so if you don't need to use that, guys. It's just that I'm verifying the answer here. 5 into 5 raised to the power 5 minus 1, that is going to be equal to 5 plus 5 raised to the power 6 minus 5, that gives me 5. But you know, that is not an efficient way of solving the problem. An efficient way of solving this problem is trying to observe pattern. And as you can see, sum till 1 term is 5 raised to the power 1, sum till 2 terms is 5 raised to the power 2, sum till 3 terms is 5 raised to the power 3, so sum till 6 terms is 5 raised to the power 6. What is the question asks you till 5 raised to the power 100? So your answer would be 5 raised to the power 101. So I hope that's also fine, guys. Let's move forward to the next one. Now this one says that 5 raised to the power 10x is equal to 4900 and 2 raised to the power square root y is equal to 25. Now the question is asking us this weird looking number, that is 5 raised to the power x minus 1 raised to the power 5 divided by 4 raised to the power minus square root y. So this is going to be 5 raised to the power 5x minus 5. This 5 will actually get multiplied into 4 raised to the power square root y, because this is actually going to go up because of this negative sign. So then it's going to be 5 raised to the power 5x divided by 5 raised to the power 5 into 2 raised to the power square root y raised to the power 2. I'm trying to bring everything in this form. So this is 2 square and this 5 goes down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is equal to 5 raised to the power 10x divided by 1 over 2, because that will give me 5x, divided by 5 raised to the power 5 into 2 raised to the power square root y square. Now it's time to fill up everything. So what is this? This is equal to 4900. So I have 4900 square root, because of this 1 by 2, divided by 5 raised to the power 5 into, so what is 2 square root y square? That is 25 square. So that is what I have. So what is the square root of 4900? That's 70 divided by 5 raised to the power 5 into 25 square is nothing but 5 raised to the power 4, because 25 is 5 square. 5 square square is 5 raised to the power 4. This and this cancels, gives me a 5. This and this cancels, gives me a 2. And I get my answer to be equal to 14. Very simple, right? Very, very simple. So, so I'll just redo this question because, I'll just redo it and show it to you what I did here. It was simple. All I did was try to bring everything in the format of what was given to me. So this was raised to the power 5 into 4 raised to the power square root y. This became 5 raised to the power 5x. Minus 5 went down into 2 raised to the power 2 square root y. 2 raised to the power square root y raised to the power 2. So 5 raised to the power 5x, if 5 raised to the power 10x is equal to 4900, if I square root both sides, I'll have 5 raised to the power 5x is equal to 70. So this was equal to 70 divided by 5 raised to the power 5. So this was 25, which was 5 square. This is going to give me a single 5, and this is going to give me a 2, and this is going to give me a 14. So hope that's fine, guys. Let's again move forward to the next one. So let's try to, we're going to skip this because we've already done this in another video. Okay, so this would be about this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've understood what we just tried to say here. And I tried to do all the questions, try to cover all the parts what exponents have, but still you can encounter something new. But don't panic, everything is safe, everything can be done with simple methods, right? So you don't need to worry about anything about that. So this would be about this video, guys. Don't forget to give us your valuable like on our Facebook page, explore our website, and give your valuable feedback on this email address. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.